name is government teacher. And you might be wondering, how does this guy's teacher end up at his wedding? And I don't know the answer, but over those years, I think I've kind of become a little bit of a big brother, which works for me too, because I do not have any brothers, so he's a little bit of a little brother for me too. So that's good. I'm thinking of something, you know, when I think of all the years I've known Brian, knowing that this day was coming, trying to think of an entertaining story to tell all of the people that don't know me or this story. This same story kept coming in my mind. I think there might be a little bit of nugget of advice here. So in 2007, Brian invites me. He was living in Atlanta at the time. He invites me down, and he says, "Hey, you want to go to the Masters with my dad and I?" I'm like, "Absolutely," because I was on spring break. So we go spend all day at the Masters. We have an unbelievable day, being two golf geeks like we are, and we're in the sun, walking up and down. Actually, the night before, we watched Ohio State get beat by 20-some points in the national championship. So that was a tough night and a long night, and then we went to the Masters. So we get home, or we get back to his apartment where he lived, and we're exhausted. So we shut the lights on and go to bed. So I'm just sleeping on his couch, and Brian's sleeping on his bed. And this was a really tiny little apartment above a garage. And Brian's bed was right next to the door. Now, I had been there for a couple days, and I had gotten used to Brian stepping out on the landing to go have a cigarette. And I got used to the sound the two doors made. And it was like a creak and then a click. Creak and a click. Creak and a click. Now, this will make sense in a second. So, creak and a click. So, in the middle of the night, I hear a click and a creak. But again, I'm sleeping. Now, everything I'm about to tell you happens in literally 3 seconds, 4 seconds of time. So I hear a click and a creak, and my first thought was, in this split second, why is he smoking? It's the middle of the night. I'm just sleeping. And then suddenly I hear him go, "Hey!" And now I'm a little bit more awake. And then he goes, "Hey!" And then he screams, "Hey!" And the next thing I knew, I'm standing on top of his couch with a 9-iron in my hand. And I'm going, "What's going on?" And I'm just screaming, "Ah!" He's like, "Someone just tried to come in." Which makes sense because it was the click and the creak instead of the creak and the click, because whoever it was had opened the outside door first. So I'm like, "What?" So we hop up, he grabs a club in his hand. We run out on the landing, down the steps. Here we are in our boxer shorts, standing in the back of this person's, in the back of the yard, holding 9-irons. And anyways, so I'm freaking out. Right, and I'm like, "Who was it?" He couldn't identify who it was. He couldn't identify it was a man or a woman, whatever. So we get back in there, and the flight or what's it called? Flight or fight. And my adrenaline is just pumping. I mean, I can feel my skin just pulsing. So I'm going, "Dude, we gotta call the police." And here's where I think the nugget of advice comes in. He goes, "I'm not calling the police." I go, "Someone just tried to break in." He goes, "I'm not calling people. Why don't you want to call the police?" He goes, "I don't want to fill out all that paperwork." So Danielle, you're going to have to fill out all the paperwork. On a more serious note, as you know, last couple years have been difficult for Brian and his family, and we had some emotional conversations over that time. And I kept telling him over and over when we had these conversations, I said, however things turn out, a better day is going to come. Even when you're having your worst day, a better day is going to come. And when I look around the room and I see all of you, and you can see all the smiles on your faces, especially when I look at you two, today is that better day. So let's toast Brian and Dan.
All right, folks, big round of applause for our best men.
Inside joke.
What's that? I saw that hat.
What? I'm thinking that little baby looks like the hand. Oh my god, is it written or Russian? But like the little babies that pose, like the little baby calendars.
There's a name for it?
Yeah, there's a famous photographer that